Seeing my surprised face, Jason, the head of the sales department, said while trying to suppress his laughter, "Sorry, I totally forgot your existence." Everyone around us burst into laughter at his words. I dazedly stared at Jason. I was the person who planned a company trip, yet how come there was no plane ticket for me? "Sorry, but there's no seat for you. You might as well head back now." Watching Jason laughing his heart out, I regretted not taking care of the travel arrangements myself until the end. But it seemed that Jason had planned this all along. I was completely set up. On my way home from the airport, I sent an email to a certain person. They are probably on the plane with the rest of the sales department by now, so this email won't reach them immediately, but that's fine. I've been transferred a lot more than other employees. The reason is that they wanted me to have tough experiences and get to know various jobs within the company. Because of this, people including Jason started to see me as a liability that couldn't stick to any department, but it was all at the behest of a certain person. My name is Michael. I'm a company employee in my 40s. My parents divorced when I was a child, and I lived with my mother and grandmother in my mother's hometown. My mother was always busy with work, so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother when I came home from school. When I was doing my homework in the living room, my grandmother would bring me snacks and drinks. We would eat them together and chat about what happened at school that day or just have some light conversation. Among the snacks my grandmother prepared, my favorite was a certain brand of cookies. They were sweet, cinnamon, and had a satisfying crunch, and they were both our favorites. Sometimes my grandmother would buy cookies from different brands, but we always ended up saying that the usual ones were better. I loved spending the time with my grandmother. My mom was always busy with work, so she often came home late at night. But having my grandma around meant I never felt lonely, and I admired my mom for her hard work. I wanted to work hard like my mother and be kind to others like my grandmother when I grew up. And so, I grew up with those thoughts in mind. My mother really wanted me to go to college, although it wasn't easy. Consequently, I managed to graduate from a college thanks to scholarships and other programs. I was interested in business management, so I chose the subject as my major. After graduating, I got a job at the cookies manufacturer I always loved. Having an accounting certification, I was assigned to the accounting department as a new graduate. Being assigned to the accounting department as a new graduate is thought to be difficult, but it seems I was placed there because there happened to be an opening. Though I joined a company because I liked its products, I ended up in a department unrelated to them, but that's just how things turned out. I was placed in the accounting department, so I had no choice but to do my best there. Fortunately, the department was full of serious people, but my colleagues were sincere, and they made a comfortable place for me. The accounting department might have seemed stiff and gloomy from the outside, but Alex, my mentor, taught me the job carefully, and my boss, Michael, was kind. While learning the job, I even acquired a business accounting certification, but 4 years after joining, I was transferred to the product planning department. The atmosphere in the product planning department was completely different from the accounting department. It was filled with curious people, and there was always a buzz of conversation about recent societal trends and personal hobbies. I am not good at speaking. Even when I was struggling to find words, there were people who would understand what I wanted to say and draw it out from me. I was initially surprised by everyone's high communication skills. The job required creativity and analytical skills, so I became interested in the latest trends and learned about marketing tasks. Our team's proposal had finally been approved, and we were all celebrating. Then, I was transferred to the production management department. The motto of production management was to avoid stockouts without holding too much inventory. This job, which involved everything from procuring raw materials to shipping finished products, was appealing because it allowed me to be directly involved with my favorite snacks. Since this department required communication with many other departments, I was able to interact with people I had never dealt with before. It expanded my network. Just when I was starting to feel antsy about becoming a mid-level employee, possibly responsible for training juniors, I was transferred to the marketing department. I would often do market research while in the product planning department, but figuring out how to sell was the job of the marketing department. This department required management skills and the ability to see the big picture. It's been a while since I graduated from college, but I remember there was a marketing department within the business school I attended. Although it wasn't my major, I took some courses on marketing strategies. After all, management is considered a higher concept than marketing, and it's said that the goals of management and marketing are aligned. Marketing involves efforts directed towards customers, while management involves efforts considering the entire company's future. Touching on management-related subjects after such a long time, I found management studies challenging yet enjoyable. There was a great sense of accomplishment when the sales strategies I came up with increased the awareness of our products, and I wished to stay in this department where I could apply what I learned in business school. Around the time I turned 40, I was transferred to the sales department. This was my fourth time facing the challenges of adapting to a new department since joining the company. Like before, I believed that there would be new discoveries and joys in the sales department, but this time things didn't go as smoothly. On my first day in the new department, I arrived a bit earlier than usual. I always do this on the first day to greet everyone and organize my desk. When I got to the sales department, it seemed the boss hadn't arrived yet, so I asked someone nearby for my desk and started to get settled. However, even when the start time came, the boss was nowhere to be seen. I thought it was common for superiors to arrive early on the day a new person joins for introductions, but it seemed the head of this department was different. About 30 minutes after the start time, Jason, the department head, appeared with a coffee in hand. I immediately went to Jason's desk to greet him. "Good morning. My name is Michael, and I have been assigned to the sales department starting today. I look forward to working with you." Upon my greeting, Jason responded with "Oh," as if he had just remembered about me. "Nice to meet you. Michael, you came from the marketing department, right?" Jason said this while looking over the documents presumably passed to him by HR. You've been bouncing around different departments, right? What's the deal? Were you being passed around as a burden?" He said this while frowning and roughly placing the documents down. I was taken aback by being called a burden to my face on our first meeting. Indeed, I have often been transferred every 3 to 4 years. Looking around, I saw many who had been in the same department for over 5 years, and I sometimes wondered why I was the only one frequently transferred. However, I always tried to do my best in every department I was assigned to. I never saw myself as a burden to the company. "Well, whatever. Hey everyone, can I have your attention for a moment?" Jason called out to everyone in the sales department as if nothing had happened. All eyes turned to me. "This is Michael, who joined the sales department today. He came from the marketing department, but it seems like he's been shuffled around a lot and couldn't fit in anywhere, making him somewhat of a burden. Tried to get along with him, but only to a certain extent." Laughter erupted at Jason's humorous introduction. And there, I realized I was completely out of my element. I was incredulous at the overtly malicious introduction and looked at Jason. He smirked at me with a nasty grin and ended the conversation with "That's the situation." I should have responded properly, but I was so shocked by the blatant hostility that I couldn't say a word. I've never been confrontational, but in all the departments I've been, people warmly welcomed me, and as we worked together, our relationships deepened gradually. First impressions are important. I should have countered Jason's words with a joke, but it was my mistake not to. They must have thought I wouldn't talk back no matter what.